Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode, a special episode, the first live episode of LVAD Talks. How you guys doing today? I'm bringing up a special guest. We have Mr. Scott McClellan of Bread and Beats Podcast. How you doing today, sir? I think you muted. I got you. How you doing, sir?
Sorry about that. I'm doing good. I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. How's it going with you?
I am awesome. I am awesome. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a
Yeah.
while. Yeah, man. So let's just jump right on into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about how did you realize that you were going through heart failure and what led to your LVAD?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, huh? Uh, so in 2000, I don't know, 2013, I got diagnosed with heart failure. I thought I had the flu. You know how you get the fluid buildup so you can't breathe, and
Right.
you know, the temperature was running. I swore I had the flu, so I went down to my local ER, I guess, or walk-in clinic is what we used to call it back then, and they tested me out and they started running. They did an EKG, and as soon as they ran an EKG on me, they called 911, which was directly across the street, and they came right over and took me to the hospital. And I got diagnosed with heart failure, but at the time, it wasn't bad. You know, they only had me on a couple meds. Year over year, it continued to get worse. It just didn't go very well for me. Part of it was because I wasn't doing the most I could to take care of myself, and then also it just that's the way heart failure progresses. So I was up against it for a while, but I eventually got proactive about my taking care of myself and getting ahead of my heart failure, staying ahead of my heart failure, and
Right.
trying to avoid, filling up with fluid and going to the hospital. Um, is not fun, and it just takes a lot of time to do something that you can avoid just by minding your p's and q's when it comes to your salt and your fluid intake. You know what I mean? So I got ahead of that, and I was able to sort of just always stay one step ahead of those symptoms. I was able to take them out of my daily life, and I was going about my business just fine. But it got worse. I started having they call ventricular tachycardia.
Mm-hmm.
I had 7 of those in the same year, and on my 7th VTAC, I got taken to USC, University of Southern California, and that's when they implanted my LVAD. It was September of 2019, so it was a rough road. I mean, 2013, 2019 is 6 years, and 2019 being the worst with 7 heart attacks and up to 30 hospitalizations. Like, it got pretty ugly there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy
So
to sorry. It's
no,
just
go
easy
ahead.
to it's easy to look back, and it's easy to see, the things you go through and where you are today, and you have things to be thankful for. And I'm thankful, that my LVAD was able to be implanted to me because it saved my life.
Yeah, yeah. So you said I went through tachycardia myself, and for those that don't know, that's like the weirdest feeling because you could
Yeah.
just be sitting chilling and it feels like you just got up and ran around the block, but you're just
Hmm.
sitting there.
Hmm.
And I used to get it, and I knew something was going on, and I don't advise anybody to do this. If you ever feel that sensation, you need to go to 911. But sometimes I would I figured out a way to kind of compress it a little bit, where I would like hold my breath and put pressure down on my chest, and after a
Hmm.
while, my heartbeat would go back to normal.
Yeah.
I know now that was not a smart thing to do,
I have
but
I have one of those defibrillators, so at a certain point I just got shocked. That running the race feeling that you have when you can kind of just feel your
mm,
heartbeat climb all the way up to here. Well, when it gets to here, I get shocked. So,
yeah.
um, you know, I would love to be able to try that. It sounds good.
How many times have you gotten shot?
Oh, geez. A lot. I think I'm up at least 20. The most I
Wow.
ever had at one time was 7 in a row because I had a really bad VTech that led to my LVAD,
Mhm.
and I didn't wake up until the seventh shock. It was interesting. That's when everyone
Wow.
sort of said, "Enough is enough."
Mhm.
This is it. They had me on an IV drip at home with, I forgot the name of it, but it strengthens your heart so it can beat
Probably
effect.
melanoma.
Yeah, Milrinone or something like
Yeah.
that. I
Mhm.
think. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And none of that was working. I was still getting VTAX. My potassium wasn't right, my electrolytes, and so they put this all that in me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't get mine until after I had my LVAD.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't get mine until after.
Interesting.
They tried to give me the little vest thing, but I wasn't gonna wear that. It was not gonna. Nah. But yeah, I got shocked a couple of times, and one of my funnest stories is to tell people. I was playing my Xbox, and at one time I played competitively, and I talk junk when I play the Xbox. So me and this one guy was going at it, and yeah, and I was like, man, I'm gonna shoot you in the pop. And next thing I know, I'm laid back on the couch.
Mhm. That's the way it goes, man. It's hard to describe too. People always ask what it feels like, but when I
I
first
know how
got
to
mine,
describe it.
excuse me, when I first got mine, the doctor started cracking up because I said, how am I going to know when this thing goes off? And he thought it was funny because he looked at me. He just said, don't worry about it. You'll know. You'll know when this thing goes off.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely will. I had some. All right, so a couple of my doctors tried to sweet talk it, make it seem like it was gonna be simple and easy and all that. But I had
Mm-hmm.
one doctor, Dr. Old, and he happened to be on the podcast a few episodes ago. And I had to thank him because he told me the truth. He said it's going to feel like a mule kicks you in the face.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like for the very first time. Yes, it felt like and it felt like
Yeah.
I like to tell people, it felt like I got hit in the face with a baseball.
Yeah.
And you know
The
how you get the
sound is
little,
something.
yeah,
It
and you get the
makes.
little stars. I actually thought somebody came by and hit me and was trying to rob me or something.
Sorry, my internet slowed down a little bit. That's funny, and the sound that it makes is hard to. I try to replicate it, and people have heard. I've been there when I've been shocked before, and it's just this weird sound. It's interesting.
To me, it sounds like you ever been in a turbo car and the turbo spins up.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like in the
from the
inside of my
inside.
head.
Yeah, from the
Yeah, that's what
inside.
it
Yeah,
sounds like.
I understand.
So you get that zzz, pop,
Mhm.
and
I
then
know
the
when it's gonna happen
stars.
too. Yep. And with the
So we
LVAD, we don't lose consciousness. We stay awake, man. We
no
just keep
no,
it. Yeah.
and luckily with me, so after it happened the first time, I was lucky. I was happened to already be in the heart hospital when it happened. But
That's good.
after it shocked me, my heart went right back to rhythm. Like, let's get back to business. So I learned, like, I've been shot maybe 5 times. I don't even get upset anymore. Like, I wait to see what's gonna happen. It pops me,
Yeah.
my heart goes back to rhythm, and I keep
Hmm.
on going. Like, it scares other people. I'm like, I'm good with
I,
this.
I have a rule that I don't call anybody unless it hits me more than once. So, if I get shocked once, I'll push the little button on my monitor and send them a report, and then I'll call
Yeah,
them. But I don't call 911 or anything like that after just one shock because, like you said, it makes you right. You know what I mean? So you get the shock and the pace, and next thing you're feeling fine.
yeah. 5 minutes later, you act like nothing ever
Uh-huh.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. And people trip out on that too. They don't. They can't comprehend how that could happen. But you actually, and sometimes if you're, not feeling good or you're an AFib or you have something like that going on, it corrects. You could be in
yeah,
something irregular, and it just having that done corrects you.
yeah.
I mean, I've had, because of AFib, I've had like 17 cardio versions now where they knock you out and they restart your heart.
Hmm.
They put the paddles on you and they shock you, and that's all something that just a regular biological shock that I would have gotten on a day-to-day basis can fix, man. So sometimes getting a shock is actually for the better.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you had multiple heart attacks, and then you went in for your LVAD.
Yeah. Um, it was a rough year, 2019. It was all ventricular tachycardia, and
Mm-hmm.
they were just. I'd get shocked a couple times. I lost consciousness before I had the LVAD, hospital, the whole 9 yards, and then one day I had the worst one and actually stopped breathing. I got shocked 7 times, all kinds of good stuff, and that's when my team here at University of California, Irvine, sent me over to University of Southern California, and they worked me up for my LVAD, and I got it probably a month after that.
Okay. Okay. So did you have to stay in the hospital for the whole month or?
Um, yeah, since I had such a event with the VT, they needed to stabilize me from that before they can actually give me the LVAD. So I was in the hospital for a month before my LVAD, and then about 18 days afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, that's about right. So did they do all the tests like take out your wisdom teeth and put you
Uh,
to the
it,
CT scans and
that I did all the tests, all the CT scans, the breathing treatment, the breathing tests, all that stuff, squeezing grips, and
uh-huh.
the cognitive tests and stuff like that. They didn't pull my teeth out until I was getting on the transplant list, and that's when they went in and they did some work back there. Man, they really cleaned house.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks, and 2 of the 3 weeks was just getting ready for the LVAD.
Good.
Yeah, like I was. Well, it was weird. Where so my whole time I never really felt like I had a heart attack while I was in the hospital, but I didn't feel it. They came
Mm-hmm.
back and told me, because of the antibodies in my blood, that I had a heart attack. So the whole
Really?
time for me, even though my EF was at 5%, you know, I thought I was feeling good. It was what I thought
Mm-hmm.
was feeling good. I've
Mm-hmm.
come to find out later after I got my LVAD, no, I wasn't feeling good. But that's one of the. I was lucky enough that they kind of took their time within 2 weeks and did all the testing.
Yeah.
Whereas some people, they have emergency, they got to go in the LVADs and plane it.
Mm-hmm. Mine, they took their time as well. Where'd you get yours done at?
Centera Norfolk Heart Hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Are you started
So
going to clinic once a month now, once every 3 months?
I'm about. Yeah, it depends on what's going on. Normally about once every 3 months now. I'm 6 years in, so I'm an
Right.
old head.
What about the transplant list? Are you on it?
I was on it. They suspended me because now I got to lose weight. The whole COVID thing, sitting at home eating everything.
Huh, huh,
My
huh.
BMI raised, so yeah. I'm working out and trying to get back on, but
All
it's a
right.
BMI thing, and it's crazy. It's like I'm point 0.5. I'm like, y'all can go ahead and put me back on the list. I'm point 0.5.
BMI is ridiculous too. It expects, I'm 6'4". It expects guys like me to be, this unreasonable weight. It's just, it's hard to get there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually going to probably have um, the gastric sleeve done.
I had it done before I got on the transplant list.
Oh, really? So, did you
Hmm.
already have your LVAD when you had your sleeve?
Hmm. Yep.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, it
So,
was easy
was
peasy,
that your
man. You're
motivation?
gonna wake up feeling like you did about 100, 200 sit-ups. That's all you're gonna, and nothing more than that. It lasts one day and you're done.
Nice, nice. So, how was it like changing your eating habits?
It, it still is difficult.
Okay.
The thing that comes first and foremost is the size. So your portions go way down.
Yeah.
Um, After that, it's kind of on you to make good decisions with what you eat. I sometimes I do, other times, I don't. But for the most part, I do pretty well.
Okay.
It's hard though. It's hard because I grew up eating junk and, even barbecuing and stuff like that, and then even, before the surgery, you can eat healthy but big portions and have a lot of it and good food. And then after you get the surgery, you're limited to, a cup of fruit and a pudding with shakes all day, and you get used to that, but it's difficult to adjust.
Mm-hmm. Did you have, so my healthcare center makes me, so I've been in classes for almost the last 6 months. Did you have to go through the classes too? Before I could even get my sleeve, I had to finish these classes. I got my last
Yeah.
two getting ready to come up.
I actually was able to sort of skip that for the past year and a half. I'd been going to cardiac rehab,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were, satisfied with that counting as the classes because through that cardiac rehab you do get education.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd also lost 40 pounds of my own, which they required. So, by the time the weight loss surgery even became a thing, I had both of those boxes checked. They sent over somebody to do a psych eval, and then I was getting they were doing the sleep.
All right. So I guess you already answered this question, but I'm asking anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think that the recovery for the weight loss surgery was a lot easier than the LVAD?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Leaps and bounds easier. Yeah, it's microscopic, so you don't even. Like I said, the only pain you'll feel is like you did 200 sit-ups. You'll be sore from this kind of motion. Do you know what I mean? But other than that, your stomach will be real small, so you only be able to about eat this much for probably a month. But no, it's nothing like the LVAD recovery, man. Nothing. Not even close.
So you got me on the side. You got me sidetracked because I'm about to go through this. So I got a lot of questions to ask you about that. What was
Ready,
the
man.
what was the biggest? All right. So let me ask you, how long has it been since you had the weight loss surgery?
Um, I got it September of last year, so just under a year.
And how much weight did you lose?
Now to this date, I am down to. Well, I started at 345, and then right now I'm 275. So I'll let
Nice.
everyone else do the math. I don't know.
Right.
Almost 100 pounds.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I started out at about 300 pounds.
All
I'm
right.
down to like two. I go between 255 and 260 now. So I think my goal is I want to be 200, 180.
You get there, man. After the
Yeah.
surgery too, if you get that surgery, it'll fall off of you.
Yeah. So what's the one thing you miss eating that you can't eat?
um, that's a good question, man. For me, it's not even it's before surgery. So I mean, before heart failure. So salt, hot dogs, things like that, chips, all junk. But I have a salt tooth, man. I can't get enough. But with heart failure and the LVAD and stuff like that, you just can't do it. Just
Yeah,
can't do
my
it, man.
friend of mine and I, we just um, she's getting ready to have the surgery this week, and then hopefully I'll
Mm-hmm.
probably be having it in the next month or two.
All right.
So we did a tour of our favorite restaurants, like a goodbye tour.
That's good. You got to break up with them. Let them down easy, though, man. Don't
Yeah, I can't
can't
do the
just drop it
buffets
on.
anymore because
Hmm.
it'll be a waste of money.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. It's not even worth it.
Yeah, we have a my favorite buffet here is called Captain George's, and it's a seafood buffet, and they have the
Mm.
crab legs and yeah.
I'm a year out, and I still share a plate. She'll pick whatever she wants, and then I'll just eat what I can or what I like off of it, and I'll be satisfied. Because to buy two plates, you'll never even get through it. It'll take you 3 days to eat some of the portions that they serve you, in these restaurants.
Yeah, I was told that my part of the menu is gonna be the appetizer part.
Yeah, little small stuff, man. It'll be even smaller than that for a while, but once you get back to where you're eating at restaurants, you'll be ordering off either the kids menu, which I do all the time, or the appetizer menu.
Nice, nice. All right, so let's get back into the
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
LVAD. Yeah, no, because you right on time with that, man. You right on time. So once you got out the hospital, who was your caregiver, and how long was it before you felt like you were ready to get up and get around?
Yeah, good question. As soon as I got out, it was my ex girlfriend who was my caregiver, and I was up and around pretty well. I I didn't start to get my strength probably until about a month and a half afterwards.
Mm.
But I was pushing every day. I was walking the block. I was getting one house down, and then two houses down, and three houses down. And as long as you stay like that, every day you go a little bit further. It's a victory in all facets because you're just winning. Do you know what I mean? You're getting the exercise. You're pushing yourself, and you're not letting what could easily keep you down for 2, 3, 4 months get the best of you, and you're pushing through it. So a lot of prayer. I used to take my walk time would be when I prayed, and I pray about a lot, and you know what I mean. I got some long prayers, and so I needed to make my body keep up with my prayer because I wanted to finish my prayer, but I also wanted to walk at the same. It was just this little competition I did with myself to keep myself motivated, and it didn't take me very long to sort of get right back to feeling good, minus a few restrictions here and there. You know how that goes.
Yeah, yeah. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you up here. I wanted to talk to you about how going through the LVAD and being a man of faith, how
Yeah.
those two things coincided with each other.
Well, I mean, being a man of faith, following Jesus Christ, I know that I have the LVAD and I am here because he said so. I mean, long story short, that's just plain and simple as it goes. Um, you don't survive 7 heart attacks, umpteen procedures, heart failure for 8 years for no reason. Do you know what I mean? It can't be just some weird coincidence that I'm still standing here, talking to you today. So I got to take that. I got to apply my faith to it, and I got to know that there's something out here that is meant for me to do. Whether my purpose is talking and doing this type of thing, or I don't know what it is. There's a lot of stuff lined up for me that it could possibly be, but I wouldn't be where I am today, and the LVAD wouldn't have been successful if I didn't have my faith in God to fall back on, because there are low days with heart failure in the LVAD. You know that the days are long. You can wake up and not do anything, but still have a bad day. I never knew how doing so little could be so horrible until, I got heart failure and subsequently my LVAD. So they go hand in hand. There's no way I can navigate anything that I do without, falling back on my faith and knowing that there's some plan for me. This is part of it, and it sucks for now, but because I'm getting ready to go to where it doesn't suck.
Well, I think that with me, I've always been. It's a joke around here. I'm a preacher's kid. I'm a PK. I'm a church boy, but I'm always that. I was also that stereotypical PK. Was a little rebellious with it too. Yeah, I'm not lying. So I think it's one of the things though. Like I knew who God was, and I had an idea, but I think it was His way of getting my attention.
Yeah.
I've never denied Him, but I think it made me pay more attention to Him. And when I say that, I mean like I would take it for granted just waking up every morning.
Yeah.
And now every morning I make sure the first thing I say is thank God for waking me up this morning. Because if anything is a miracle, I'm a miracle. Turn it over and looking to see that I'm charged into, and the power didn't go out the night before. That's right there is enough,
I know.
But I think that one of the few times I can honestly say that I know God spoke to me was during my surgery. And I think He spoke to me a couple of times. Well, I know He spoke to me a couple of times. And I was going a brief background. During the time I was having my surgery, my wife was also sick with pancreatic cancer. Wow. And we were going through, it was one of them things where, I was so busy trying to take care of her, I wasn't really paying attention to my own health. So one of my main things I was really worried about was, I'm the breadwinner, but now I'm down, and how are we going to go on? And He came to me and told me, if you have faith, I'm gonna get you through this. Just have faith. And that, and I think he came to me more than once, because even though he came, he spoke, and I know he came and he spoke, I'm still like, was that for me?
Shocker, right? We still doubt it, right?
Right.
That's
So,
just like us to
me?
continue to doubt it, even though we know what it is. Yeah, I get it.
And so he gave me like a series of almost like tests to prove that it was him. Like, he knew that I had, I don't want to say a doubt, but I don't even know how to explain it. I needed proof.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me the proof. Like, something simple as, one of the hard things, like when we was going through the hospital and I was in the preparation mode, one of the things what we were doing was, filing my paperwork for long-term disability. And when you go through that kind of paperwork, it's a whole lot of, fill out your paperwork, you wait. 2 months later, you might get approved. 3 months later, you might get approved. He gave me a date. It was very specific. That's how I know it was him. He gave me a date, and he was like, everything's going to be taken care of by this day, right? So I'm like, okay. And like the next day, the lady calls me, and it's like, Mr. Connors, you've been fast tracked, approved, and your first check comes on this date, which was the exact date. So I was like, oh, okay, he won't play it.
Sometimes that's what it takes, man. And as long as you listen up and you don't completely ignore it all the time, you'll be all right.
Yeah, so I believe a lot of people get down about it, but I believe that I had to go through this journey.
Yeah, me too. 100% believe that this is the only way. You know what I mean? There are some things I could have changed that may or may not have, helped me avoid this, but, for all intent and purposes, this is, what my path was from the beginning, so I might as well just own it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get through it.
Yeah, man. So now, what is your goal?
Good question. I got a lot of goals, man. Long-term goal is, to be transplanted and be able to live without my LVAD again. I got some other stuff going on. I linked up. I think you probably saw a little bit about it on my social media, but the Proper Knowledge ministry that I'm working with, we have a lot of good stuff going on. The Bread and Beats podcast, you plugged that when I first came in. I have goals where I'm just trying to get out of life what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to follow, certain things that I'm being led right now to get on top of it with this ministry. This podcast that we're doing, we're answering Bible questions for people who submit their questions to us. And at the end of a little half-hour, 45-minute session answering that particular Bible question, we jump into a DJ mix, house music, hip-hop, drum and bass, all kinds of cool stuff to kind of show people that you don't have to fit in a mold to be able to follow Jesus and be a Christian and live that life. Do you know what I mean? Because look at me. I there are so many things about me that scream I may not, be a Christian or follow Jesus, but, the music I listen to, the house music and the DJ sets and like that, it can be said that doesn't fit the mold. Do you know what I mean? And I don't fit the mold, but it's important that people who are outside the mold can see that, hey, there is no mold. All you got to do is love Jesus. You got to, follow him, learn about him, and tell people about him, and that's the mold. Don't worry about anything else. The rest will come with your actions. As you kind of get further and further into it, that'll all fall into place. And we're trying to get that out. So my goal is to see that podcast touch some people that haven't previously been touched and who didn't know that there is a space for people who are like-minded in the fact that we love Jesus and we still have I'm still a '90s kid, and I still like
Mm-hmm.
house music and drum and bass, and I like DJ sets, and
Hey,
I'm not. That's not going anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
I can do both, and so it's nice to be able to spread that. So a goal is that. Then transplanted. After transplant, I just you have an LVAD so long that you kind of get a list of things you want to do. Once the LVAD's gone, swim, take a
Jump in the
a real
pool, right?
shower.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Jump in the pool, things like that. So I got a whole list of those that I'm going to knock off. Um, and then I have goals for my future. I want to live on my own and start a family. Hopefully, I just turned 41 yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Oh, happy
And
birthday!
so, thank you. I appreciate it. I still haven't given up hope for a family. Even if it's child free. Something that to call my own. That where because you have the LVAD and you go through so much stuff, that stability sometimes is hard to come by because nothing's stable when I'm not stable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for that stability. I'm looking for something long term. I'm excited about the future.
Okay, so now we got a couple things. You unpacked a couple things. We got to go back and talk about. All right, so I'm a hip hop head, but
All right.
I'm a Christian at the same time.
Me too.
I believe that. So if you follow the story of Jesus, Jesus roamed the hood. You know what I
I like
mean?
it. I like where you're going. Yeah. All right. I see it.
He was not. The only time he really went into the temple was when he flipped over the tables and he was mad.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesus hung around regular people. And I think that a friend of mine, shout out to Aaron Wiggins, we were having a conversation, and he was saying if Jesus showed up today, I don't think people would recognize him because they have this image of him flying down from the skies and the images and angels, and I think Jesus would be that old man that just walked up to you and was like, "Hey, bro, you got a quarter."
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That one cat and be like, "Yo, listen to my demo."
I see what
Because
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, we wouldn't because we're looking for something to be all, you know. I'm at a loss for words. We're looking for something to be superficial, where I think that he was more of the common man.
He was.
I
Definitely
yeah.
was.
Yeah, I don't. I think that a lot of people wouldn't recognize him. I think that Jesus would be, you know, I don't want to say in the club, but that was the people that he's trying to reach.
Mm-hmm. That would be his audience. I see where you're going with it. Absolutely see where you're going with it. And that is something that you learn is that they asked why he was eating with the tax collectors, and it was because that's where he needed to be. They needed him more than
Mm-hmm.
people who had already been saved and people who already knew about it. So that was his focus, and I can see where you're going with that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I like the woman at the well, and he
Mm-hmm.
talked to the outcast, and
Mm-hmm.
the people that you might have turned your nose up to. And that's how you got to be. That's one of the things I've always taken from my upbringing. My father used to always tell me, be careful how you entertain people because you never know if you're entertaining angels.
Huh. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been waiting to have this conversation with you.
That's funny, man. It's
So,
Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it takes, you know, having an LVAD and heart failure takes a lot out of you, and it requires much of your daily focus and brain power and strength to navigate taking meds on time and dressing changes and change your batteries, all these things. So it's our job to find the balance. You know what I mean? To
Mm-hmm.
be able to take time in the Lord, or do things like I golf. I golf every Tuesday, and I have Karina, who's my girlfriend. She like just nonstop something. Do you know what I mean? We went and bought baseball mitts. We play catch. Like it's just important, what you do after you're done with your little pity party in the morning because you feel really bad. You get that out of the way, you do your thing, and then what's next? You got to tackle it. Morning Bible studies, an exercise schedule, good food, and when you start doing these things, your focus becomes a little bit more. It's not as blurry anymore, and you can see, where you want to go and what you want to be, and it's important because this LVAD can knock you on your butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's another reason I wanted to talk to you and kind of ask you the inspirational questions, because I think a lot of people who get the LVAD, they go through things mentally. You have to be stable mentally to go through this. It's more than just the physical.
It's tough, man. Like I said, the lows are really low and the highs are really high. And it's hard to, that's mentally as well, but you gotta take those lows, and you can't stay there too long because, the longer you stay there, the longer they last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was hard because you go through some of the things that we've gone through, and, conversely, you go through, some of the things we've gone through before, and you also start to enjoy the small things, though. The little things. It was definitely a nice wake up call because, up and until I started getting sick and having all this stuff going on, I was taking life for granted. And you know what I mean? There were things in my daily life that I didn't realize I missed, and until they're taken away from you. Do you know what I mean? The ability to climb up steps and take real showers and just small things every day that I now look forward to getting back after my transplant. So
yeah,
a lot that has mentality.
All right, so this is another thing that is a hot topic I found. What did your team tell you about showering?
Well, they gave me the shower bag, so it's waterproof, and then they told me they didn't really give me a set date. They just took it, kind of played it by ear with me. They checked my drive line and things of that nature. They'd make sure I was stable enough. And then at one point, I think it was about, oh man, I should back all the way up to the beginning. I showered the first day I got home. I'm not going to lie. I put that shower bag on and I stood there, but I had one that came off. So I was able to kind of just, so day one, I actually showered, but what I was supposed to do is not that. It was probably 2 months, 3 months until.
Yeah.
Same with driving, by the way. I was as soon as this healed and I was able to do this again, I was off and running, man. I felt good again. Do you know what I mean? I gotta go. I'm out.
Yeah. Let me tell you though, I drove a little bit too soon.
Oh really?
I wanted to drive so bad. Like I was home, and after like 2 weeks, I was feeling a lot better. Like I've been in the hospital for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Mm-hmm. I just want to go out. I got my own car. I'm a grown man. I want some sunshine on my face.
Right.
And man, I took a drive to the corner 7-Eleven and back, and it was all good going there. But coming back, I felt every little rock and pebble in the street.
Oh, yeah.
I had to get home and grab that red pillow and just hold it tight. Because all this hadn't healed up right yet. So, yeah.
The story I tell about that, man, is I was in the hospital, and it was probably a weekend, and I had been weaning my pain meds off because I don't like staying on that stuff. And I had to sneeze real bad, and I was just praying to God. I was doing everything I possibly could to not sneeze, man. And I couldn't avoid it, so I popped open like a turkey. I felt like I did, at least. I didn't literally, but you know what I mean? That sneeze came.
Oh, man, after my surgery, I had the hiccups.
Really?
For like 2 days. It was the worst, yeah.
I can't imagine the pain, man. Like, seriously, for 2 days or on and off? I mean,
no, like for 2 days, I had hiccups. And then, okay, I'm gonna tell you the worst part of my recovery while I was still in the hospital is I was constipated for almost 2 weeks.
Yep.
That was work because your organs are shifting and moving and getting used to the new arrangement, and that was worse than the chest healing and all that.
I I sympathize with that. It was a struggle for me, man. And another thing I didn't like is the drainage tubes that they had in there.
Hmm.
They used to come in once a day and milk those drainage tubes and to get all
Yeah,
that fluid out of you.
yeah. But now, I guess 6 years ago, I gotta. It's not a thing anymore. But
What
my
LVAD
thing
do you
is,
have?
I have the HeartMate too.
All right.
I got one of the last of the HeartMate twos too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got the
So
three.
my thing is now though, because I've had it so long, not not being complacent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason I took the step to go ahead and have the surgery because it's a shelf life on the LVAD, and
Yeah.
I'd rather if you open me up again, I'm not getting another LVAD. You are going to give me a heart.
That's the truth, man.
If
But
I have to go
I
through,
have seen where they replace it, and some people are on their second LVAD and stuff like that. But that just
yeah,
sounds like a lot, man. I don't know. I'm good on that.
not doing it.
I'd rather do what it takes to, drop the weight, give up a food I don't like, and get a transplant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
I
like
had
I
an
said,
opportunity. Sorry to interrupt you. Just
no, go ahead.
recently, a friend of a friend. Long story short, his son ended up being in a tragic accident and hit his head, and he was
Mm,
declared brain dead by the doctors.
mm,
And so the kid's dad began kind of thinking about donation and things like that. And so he started reaching out to see if they could donate to somebody they knew. Well, my friend suggested me because he knows my situation. Long story short, I ended up spending the day at the hospital. I signed some papers and they took the kid's heart, which was the same blood type as mine. And they tested it to see if it could be transplanted in me.
mm,
And it took them like 48 hours to run the test, man. And I was praying and hoping, and is this going to be it? Every night I went to sleep thinking, is this my last night with this LVAD on?
mm,
And I was going through that struggle, heavy in prayer. And I woke up one morning, or they called me one evening, and they told me that it wasn't big enough for me, so that they
uh,
declined to give it to me. So I'm 6'4",
mm,
275. I need a special kind of heart, even average sized folks, they can take, an average sized man can take the heart of a female and
mm.
be successful. But because I'm so tall and so wide, um, it's going to take a special kind of heart. So I could
You,
be here
you
for a
gotta
while.
get that. You gotta get that Hemi.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't get the
Supercharged.
Toyota. You need the Hemi, right?
That's the truth too, man. It's and I didn't know the kid, so I had never met him, and I didn't see him, and I don't know, what size he was, but I had a feeling um, that it wasn't. I wanted it to be mine. I thought it was going to be mine, but somewhere, I just kind of, I knew it wasn't the right thing.
And it's a crazy headspace for you to realize that for you to live, somebody else has to die.
Yeah.
Like I had a lady come to me, and something had happened to her son, and she was like, I want you to have his heart, and that's like a weird position to be in,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it didn't work out. A lot of people don't really know what it takes to go and get a transplant. They don't realize, it's a certain time that you got to
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
and like her son had died like the day before, and I was like, oh no, that ain't gonna work anyway. But in a way, I was honored that she would think that, even in the time that she's dealing with
Mm-hmm.
her son's death, she was looking to help somebody else.
That was interesting for me too, because I talked to the dad, I talked to the kid's girlfriend, I talked to the kid's brother, like they were all there, and to know what they were going through, it was just this weird, you know what I mean? Because I have these feelings of excitement, but at the same
Mm.
time, I'm sitting here with the family of this child who just got declared brain dead. So it was a
Right.
real hard juxtaposition of my feelings that I couldn't understand how I wanted to really act. So I ended up just sitting there kind of stone faced. I didn't know what to do. It was difficult.
Yeah, it's like you want to be happy for yourself, but you don't
Yep.
want to be, happy in front of them because they're
Yeah.
going through something right now.
It was
You want
difficult.
to be at least be compassionate.
I tried, man. I tried. And they're a good family. They ended up, the person who got the heart ended up getting a kidney too, and so it was, it ended up, being pretty good. Some other people had their life saved. They got some good phone calls that day. You know what I mean? And that kid, because of a tragic accident, was able to. It's hard to wrap your mind around. It's hard to think about.
Yeah, like for me to live, somebody has to die, and is
Right.
that fair? Yeah.
Uh, yes, you know what I mean. I don't know. That's not, that's one of those things where we got to leave it to God. You know what I mean? There's a reason why he needed that person at the time, and there's a reason why that heart, matched me, and why we won't.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that was deep.
hmm Hey, do you sleep
So,
on your wall unit or do you sleep on batteries?
wall unit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully my team's not listening. I've only fell asleep once on my batteries.
Really?
Yeah, and they died while I was asleep. And all of a sudden I woke up to ah, yeah, I hurried up and plugged up that. And the funny thing was, I was asleep in my bed. I guess I was doing something. You know how you get tired and just next thing you know you sleep. I'm very conscious of, not going to sleep on batteries. But at one particular time I did, and was right there. Like all I had to do was roll over and plug in. But still, the fact that I slept through the batteries beeping until my controller actually was alarming. That kind of made me tighten up a little bit.
Scary, huh?
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, don't use the wall unit. I just sleep on batteries.
Really?
Yeah,
You just change them before you go to bed?
every night before I go to bed. They get 18 hours, so as long as I go to bed at 11, wake up at 8, I'm fine.
And see, the HeartMate 3 batteries last a lot longer.
Oh,
So
really?
mine lasts about 7, 8 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Like I
Dang.
usually wake up in the morning and I put a fresh pair of batteries on. And it also depends on what I'm doing throughout the day too. Because if it's a gym day, of course I'm at the gym, my heart's working harder, so the batteries run down a little bit faster. But
Mhm.
normally I have to change my batteries about 6 or 7 o'clock.
Really? See, I get 16 to 17 hours. Like as I'm sitting here talking to you, I have it next to me in my bag.
Mm-hmm.
I put these on last night
Mm-hmm.
at 11 p.m.
Wow.
And then as soon as you and I are done, I'll go downstairs and I'll plug new ones in.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. One of my problems with mine is I have a 2-story house, but the bathroom is downstairs.
Oh man.
My bedroom is upstairs. So that sucks at night, especially when you're on the torsamide
Mm-hmm.
or the
Mm-hmm.
Lasix.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not fun.
I'm on a large dose of that stuff too, so I'm up to pee probably 2, 3 times a night.
Yeah, I
Not
hate.
good.
That's one of the things though that I really don't like. Out of all the things I have to deal with, out of getting a warfarin and having to have your blood checked, yeah, I'm cool with all that. But the Lasix, man. And luckily, I don't have to take it every day. But I try when I do have to take it, I can't go nowhere.
Do you have a cardio MEMS? Did they put one of those inside you?
No, what's that?
It's a chip they put in your heart, and then you lay on a pillow every morning, and it sends the pressures of your heart to your team. That way, some days you
No.
that way some days you take your diuretic. Some days you don't have to, depending on the pressures inside your heart.
No, I don't have one of those.
The same company Abbott that does our LVADs is the one that does it. It's called Cardio MEMS MEMS.
Wow. Yeah, no, I don't have one of those. I'll look into that. I try to have all the
That's cool.
toys.
Yeah, look into that, man. And it's a pillow, and it just sends the report to your team. So I wake up every morning, 10 o'clock, jump on the pillow, 30 seconds to run a report. And then, if I have to take the med, they'll call me up and say, your pressures are a little high. Take 2 Bumex tonight or something like that. You see what I'm saying? And then, it's nice because it saves your kidneys. You don't have to pee all the time. You're actually
Did you get it the same time you got your LVAD?
Oh, I've only had this cardio MEMS for 2 months now. I just got it back in February or March. Yeah.
So was it like a outpatient procedure?
Yep. I don't even. They put you lightly out. I mean, and you're only out for like 12 or 15 minutes. The longest part is recovery because they go in through your femoral artery, and so afterwards you got to lay straight for 4 hours with the pressure on it and stuff like that. But that's it, man.
Yeah.
Get into that.
Yeah, I will. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Forever learning something new, man. Forever learning something new.
That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about.
Man. All right, so if somebody came to you and said, Scott, I think that I'm considering getting an LVAD, what would you tell them?
See, I tell them that getting the LVAD saved my life. I tell them, I won't say yes or no to that question because that's not fair. But what I will do is give them knowledge about what it did for me, and it saved my life, man. I was going from, being in a wheelchair from the bed to the couch, from the couch to the bathroom because I had the 9% EF and I couldn't get around. To now I'm up to, I walk 4 miles a day. I golf. I go fishing. Like it's night and day difference from before LVAD and after LVAD for the better. And that's what I would tell them. And then, just let them know that, for me, yes, get the LVAD. It'll help. Each thing has its own set of problems. You got this 6-pound bag hanging from your neck all day. You got to, all these things that come with it. But compared to the way I was before the LVAD, it's a no-brainer, man. Get the LVAD.
Yeah, man.
All day.
So tell everybody how they can catch you on social media.
Oh yeah,
how they can catch your podcast. What they can do to get in touch with you.
Instagram. First, the podcast is Bread and Beats Podcast. That's on Instagram. You can search Bread and Beats on Facebook. You can download our app on all the app stores. What the app is, it's a collection of our podcasts. It has a little bit with food recipes, and we're in the kitchen. I got to be in the kitchen, right? And then we do. There are devotionals on there. There are a lot of different ways for them for people to get plugged in to kind of find out more about the Lord. Submit Bible questions there. We'll answer them on our podcast. So our app, Instagram, and Facebook, Bread and Beats Podcast. And then for me personally, if you just search Scott McClellan, it'll pop up. You'll be able to find me there. I'm sure you have me tagged in a few places. I have you tagged in a few places. You can pop up with that. But mostly I'd like it if everybody went and checked out the Bread and Beats Podcast. That was
Awesome. I want to thank everybody who listed some comments while we were talking, everybody that listened to the podcast. Simone, I see you out there, girl. You got this. I want to shout out Dan Trail, Southwest B, and it's just Eliza's Karina.
That's my girlfriend.
I figured as much. I want to shout y'all out. Thank you very much for checking us out. I want to tell everybody they can catch the LVAD Talk podcast on Facebook on the LVAD Talk page. You can catch us on YouTube on LVAD Talk. And anywhere that you get your podcast, you can catch us. And I'm going to give y'all a little preview. Merch is coming soon.
I need one of those, man.
Oh, you got it. You got it. I'm trying to work out who my supplier is going to be.
All right.
So I'm going through testing a couple of different people and a couple of different vendors. And once I get the right one, like I like this one, it's cool, but I want it to be a little bit more vibrant. But
Yeah, I
it's
agree with
big.
that.
I like the way it fills up the whole. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I like that.
I like it.
So as soon as I get it straight, you were one of the first, sir.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to a special edition of LVAD Talk Live. Man, I really appreciate this.
Fun. Thank you for inviting me.
It's awesome. We'll probably have more lives in the future. Just to give a little teaser out, Dan Trail, I see you, man. Shout out to Cruz. Shout out to John Sandy. Be looking for the LVAD Super Friends podcast coming out soon. Y'all, thank you for your time. Scott, I appreciate you, sir.
All right, Sean. God bless, man. Be good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been LVAD Talk. I am your host, Sean. This is Scott, and we are... Hold on, let me get my little theme music ready. We are out.